can I have a motion to approve council minutes for March 18th? So, second? Questions?
Yes, I would say that there's one thing that was left out here where it says at the bottom, Parks and Rec Commission, Mayor Maxwell requested additional time to meet with Ms. Dixon, and he also said in the person, whose commission it is, but I'd say maybe the commission leadership, because he did request to meet with both Ms. Dixon and the person in charge of the commission.
I said a lot of things, and I think everything needs to be included. I think what is in here is factually accurate. Mayor Maxwell requested additional time to meet with Ms. Dixon, which I did, and I enjoyed, before he cast the time to vote.
Well, I'm just saying that it's to be accurate.
That is accurate. I did do that.
Well, it is sufficient, because you did all, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just accurate to say that you had requested to meet with Ms. Dixon and also the commission.
I said other things as well.
So I would make a secondary motion to add that, to correct it, that Mayor Maxwell requested additional time to meet with Ms. Dixon and the commission leadership before he cast it.
That's not what I said.
It is, I have it on the record.
Okay, wait.
So,
Motion, he says not what it said.
well, he didn't say commission leadership.
Excuse
I'm
me,
sorry.
please adjust the chair from now on. Okay, he asked for it. Do we have a second on that? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to do that change.
If you'd like to change it from commission leadership to what he said exactly, which was the person whose commission it is.
He said he didn't say he doesn't want to. So,
Well, that's what he said.
excuse me, we have a motion and a second. We're
Recording.
take the vote. Okay, all in favor of the change? Opposed? Okay, now we'll go back to the original motion, approving the council minutes for March 18th as is. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Ms. Feldman was dissenting vote.
Councilman Feldman, please.
Councilman Feldman, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, next one we have, can I have a motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting of March 27th? We have a first, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Questions?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
No, yes, I have questions.
I'm sorry, Councilman Feldman, yes?
There are two areas that need to be fixed. At the beginning of it, it doesn't really address why there was a special meeting. So I would think that you should start out first with, like, due to a tie vote at the March 18th meeting, and the mayor electing to defer, the mayor electing to defer casting the deciding vote, a special meeting was required. And then you go into when the special meeting was and everything, but it gives the reason for the special meeting, which I think is pretty important. And then, so I think I'll make a motion to do one first, and then I have another one as well. You can do it one by one if you'd like.
Probably better.
And can you be,
Okay.
I don't understand your motion, and these things might come to my vote, so can you be more clear on what your motion is? I make a motion to,
Well,
followed by what
I
you
have-
make a motion to do.
All right, well, I was going to ask council if you wanted to, there are two changes to make. If council wanted to address each change one by one with a separate motion, or if you wanted to address the changes all together as one
Can we
motion.
hear your changes, please?
Sure. The second change is under Parks and Recreation Commission appointment, where it says Councilor Feldman refused to vote and left the meeting. That's not accurate. I actually left the meeting in protest, and I did go back and listen to the recording, and I even have that snippet here if you want to hear it, because I said specifically, you know, I am leaving this meeting in protest. If I leave the meeting, then I can't vote. So I didn't refuse to vote and leave the meeting, because that would be a violation really of my oath and my duties. But if I leave the meeting, I can't vote, because I'm not there. So the correct way to put that would be Councilor Feldman left the meeting in protest prior to the vote being taken. And that is accurate. So both of those just kind of tidy it up, tell you the reason for the special meeting, and then make it accurate as far as the voting.
Well, then do we,
So I'll make a motion then to say that we amend the minutes to read at the beginning, due to a tie vote at the March 18th regular meeting, at which the mayor elected to defer casting the deciding vote, a special meeting was required. Pretty plain there. And then the other part is that that to strike the last sentence under deferred business, and instead put in Councilor Feldman left the meeting in protest prior to the vote being taken.
motion and a second. Discussion?
I think that regarding Councilor Feldman's first point, I'm not sure if that is accurate to what happened, and I think it's a extraction of I think it's an interpretation of what was said. I think that with these minutes, we historically, because we get into these conversations and these discrepancies, that our very diligent staff sticks to the facts completely and doesn't use words that can be construed in different ways. And I think Councilor Feldman's motion regarding what happened in terms of my vote is contains language that is can be disputed. And I think we should strict disputed type language from the minutes.
Well,
And we're going to do this every week.
Excuse me, just please address the council president when you want to be recognized.
Oh, I didn't think he was addressing it.
That's okay. From now on,
I tapped him on the shoulder.
excuse me, guys, please run everything through so we can try to keep the meeting organized. Okay.
May I
Pardon?
respond?
Yes, go ahead.
I apologize if the language is at all objectionable. I tried very hard to write it up so it is very objective and really states the facts. And the special meeting was due to a tie vote at the March 18th regular meeting. And the mayor did elect to defer casting the deciding vote. That's not a bad thing. It's just a choice that the mayor is certainly allowed to make. And the mayor elected to defer casting the deciding vote. And so as a result of that, a special meeting was required. That's all my language says. Due to a tie vote at the 18th regular meeting, the mayor decided to defer casting the deciding vote and a special meeting was required. Again, if there's anything objectionable and you want to change the wording because you think that it's somehow loaded, then by all means, please do so.
I think that what is in these minutes is factually accurate, and that is what's important. I think that making motions to change the minutes to add what you see as additional facts is a bad habit to get into. I think what our staff did in terms of running these minutes is factually accurate. Unless something is not factually accurate, I don't think they should be changed.
Well,
because I could ask council to make a motion to say, well, Councilor Feldman also said these three things during that meeting too. Can we add those as well?
So the first sentence, enough information as far as the special meeting needed to be called. I'm not trying to do anything here other than just to make an accurate record of why the special meeting was called and to clear up as far as my reading the meeting and protest.
The only thing that was discussed at this meeting is, deductive reasoning would tell you that the only thing discussed at this meeting was the Parks and Rec Commission appointment. And given that that was the only thing that was on the agenda, I think it logically says that that was the reason for the meeting.
I want to give someone else a chance to talk. Does anyone else have anything to comment?
Just having taken minutes for many, many years, I agree with Ian that we should add the reason for the special meeting was due to a vote. So that is, I would like to split the two votes if possible. The two things.
Well, let's finish our comments. Any more comments on it? I have a question. I mean, we try to keep them vague. We always say we weren't going to get into specifics because we started out pages and pages. I mean, if we're going to get into specifics, I mean, the one, you didn't vote, and then do we say, and then do we get into everything you said? Do we get into that you asked Nick to leave because you thought the meeting, was a little irregular or something to that nature? I can't remember exactly. So we have to decide, do we keep them vague like we have been, we just get to the point, and we do it, the vote reflects what happened, or do we get into umpteen pages long? That's what you guys have to decide. We used to do really detailed. How many pages we used to do, Steve, remember? And then we finally got away from the minutes.
We take the minutes according to Robert's rules. We get into personal comments, what was said. When we advertise the meeting, we didn't advertise it in the newspaper to say because the mayor failed to wear a tie.
Right.
That's the advertisement that was in the newspaper, so.
Well, I'd like to rescind my vote, rescind my motion, and I will restate it. That I'll make a motion to amend the opening statement to read, due to a tie vote at the March 18th regular meeting at which the mayor elected to defer casting the deciding vote, a special meeting was required. I'll leave it at that one motion right now.
Let me hear from council first. Do we have any comments?
I'm happy voting for the tie, I'm not
Right.
sure I wanna.
Right, you don't drag everything in. It sounds to me like we're adding names, we tell it's just a tie, that's why we had to have a meeting.
Then change the I told you, if the language is objectionable, then change it. I think it's just important to have a record as to why we have a special meeting.
It's a tiebreaker meeting. That's what it was a tiebreaker meeting. And Steve, what did the newspaper read? It read,
That's actually the ad on top of the meeting, that's what the newspaper said.
so it's actually there. That's actually what was advertised, why we had it, so. You call the roll. So you wanna, well, are we all done? Everybody finished? So Andy, you wanna leave that in? Okay, we have motion and second, all in favor?
Of what, of mine?
Of your motion, yes, we're doing your last motion. Okay, opposed? Okay.
All right, I'd like to make another motion, secondary motion to change under adjournment, remove that last, remove that under deferred business, remove the last sentence, and put in Councilor Feldman left the meeting in protest prior to the vote being taken. And I would like to play this for you.
No, I don't want any tapes playing here. Excuse me, Councilor Feldman, I would ask you not, because I don't want the tapes artificial.
It says on the
I
meeting
would
protest.
ask you to please respect the chair's position. That is not illegal tape in here, really. Council, do you guys want to?
And I don't think you have to, Phil, just do the vote.
I need to do that because I need you to
And I
hear.
would ask you not to, we don't official tape. I would ask you, please.
I'll second the motion that I do remember, without even that, I remember her saying that, so.
And then it's.
We're going for accurate as has been stated by many others.
What was the motion again?
Councilor
Just to
Feldman,
change it to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Councilor Feldman left the meeting in protest prior to the vote being taken. That would be, so.
Protest is, are we also going to add that you
Well,
asked
you
Nick
can
to
just
leave?
say, Councilor Feldman left the meeting prior to the vote being taken.
It does say left the meeting.
I didn't play the rest of it, but I did say in protest.
It says left the meeting.
Yeah, and then
No, it's back.
But again, to be
No, it
fair,
says
if you
that
want
I-
to keep it vague, we don't have to put.
it says I refused to vote and left the meeting. That's not accurate. I left the meeting.
Therefore, didn't vote.
Therefore, I couldn't.
Are you amending your motion, Andy? to
I will
say
amend
left?
my motion to say Councilor Feldman left the meeting prior to the vote being taken.
I'll second that.
So we'll bump that up to citizens to be heard. That's where it happened. We'll bump that up to citizens to be heard, because that's actually when it occurred.
You have it right there already under citizens to be heard. Councilor Feldman commented on Mildred Dixon's interest in volunteering. And then you have, as far as the vote, Councilor Feldman left the meeting prior to the vote being taken. So,
That was in the citizens to be heard section.
yeah, right, it was. Yeah, you're gonna put I left there, but you're, well, I'm saying down here, because you have here,
But it
under,
happened,
listen, excuse me,
Go
under,
ahead.
it says under deferred business, Councilor Wigglesworth made a motion to appoint her, McClellan seconded, after discussion, the motion failed 3-1, and then, so that's where you would put it, Councilor Feldman left the vote, left the meeting prior to the vote being taken. That, I mean, because that's in the voting section. If you want to put it up in citizens to be heard, that's fine, and then just, you know, whatever.
it's,
It doesn't, I don't think it matters one way or the other. You have it that I commented in citizens to be heard, and then under the vote, all you say is that I left before the vote was being taken, so, you know,
it's up to council. Any more questions, changes?
it's accurate.
You guys okay with where the vote is, or up where citizens to be heard?
Well, hold it, wait, my motion,
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, that's the motion.
Oh, hold, on that point of order, there's already a motion.
Yes, you want to rescind that wants to,
We either have to rescind it or vote that down.
right, that's what I'm waiting to hear. You want to take that back again, or what?
I don't know what we're talking about. What do you, I'm
We have
sorry,
motion
what
and
is
a second.
Councilor McClellan?
I would like to move it up to citizens to be heard, because that's where it happened, so let's do that, because it looks
And
like you were still a part of the vote.
Okay, so taking that sentence, removing it entirely, that
Yes.
Councilor Feldman refused to vote and left the meeting, and instead putting Councilor Feldman left the meeting prior to voting taken
Yes.
up in citizens to be heard. I'm fine with that. I can amend my motion to remove Councilor Feldman refused to vote and left the meeting from under the Parks and Rec Commission, and instead add Councilor Feldman left the meeting prior to vote being taken up under citizens to be heard.
Second. Okay, comments? Okay, motion is second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Steve, I
And one
recuse.
abstain.
But then
Oh.
the whole.
Okay, citizens to be heard. Excuse me, guys, could we keep the talking down? Thank you.
Well, Mr.
Citi-
President, I have a question.
Citizens to be heard.
I have a question. I don't understand. If we did the one motion that failed, and then we did the other motion that did go, so don't you have to do an overall motion?
That was overall with that change, wasn't it? Correct?
Oh, overall.
Oh.
consent
Yeah, I don't
of
think,
minutes.
I think she's.
Yeah,
No, that was just the secondary,
yeah.
that was the
Oh,
secondary.
you just wanted that
motion.
change. I'm sorry, okay.
But then you still have
Motion to
to-
approve the overall minutes with
With
the
the
changes.
changes, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Opposed?
Sorry.
I would go
Thank you.
13.
Sorry, guys.
So the minutes reflect that.
I apologize. I thought that was all mixed into one. All righty, citizens to be heard. Just asked, excuse me, I just asked, I'm going to make a statement. I asked all citizens to keep it down to a 3-minute. Please, 3 minutes, that's what we have, so we're trying to keep it.
I always do 3 minutes, unless you cut me off.
Thank you. Step right up and name and address, please.
Mildred Dixon, 3 Terry Court, Downingtown, PA.
All right.
And I just want to say hello to everybody, good afternoon or evening. But I'm coming in today because of the fact is I'm a little disappointed the council vote being against me on Saturday at the special meeting that Maxwell called. And special meeting Friday that Maxwell called at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he wasn't here after he told me he would be here. When we met, I believed you. And I know you said if I called the vote, it would be voted against me. If I wanted to be a volunteer and talk to Pat, she would have put me on the volunteer list. But this position is volunteering anyway. But I wanted to be a voting member, like everyone else. And I applied first. 8 months ago, I showed up to every meeting from October, November, December, January, February. And I'm sorry you guys had a problem with me in February. It wasn't a problem before those months. So I just want to just put it on the record in front of everyone in here. I live 2 streets over, and my opinion to come in here, and I dedicated my life to Downingtown, working either democratically, getting all of you where you are, most of you, and I just feel a little bit perturbed with this situation, the way it had came about. And I just feel like you that voted against me, Phil, my UPS man, who I call a friend, Pat, who I stood there and took your signatures when you took a lunch break at Primary over there where I live, Maxwell, my mayor, which I walked with my aneurysm in the cold and rain and hot sun to make you a mayor and a state rep. And not to mention you, Chip. Your signs was in my backyard when I walked and shared cookies with your daughter that voted against me. You never gave me a reason other than I got snippy. You are president here. People don't get snippy with you. Pat, you are a councilwoman. You gotta get used to this. We're adults here. But you don't have to answer to me because it's between you and your God. But as for you 3, thank you for supporting me, who I am. You know my qualifications. You got my resume, as well as my application. Whatever they decide to do, that's on them, and it's not on you. And I respect you for that. And to my officers, who I am so proud of, I am always proud of you. You're the best. Coatesville can't compare. No matter where they want to go, preach, teach, whatever. This is our yard, and I'm gonna still serve my community as well as I always do, with or without working in here. But you know what? It's not over because I'll be here. I'm coming back. So your tender, not probably to do your volunteer work for free. No, I'm a voting member first. I live here.
Kelly, your
I'll work
time's
for
up, so
someone
if you could
else.
wrap it down to.
And you have a lovely day too,
closing
Chip.
statements, please. Thank you.
God bless you all.
Thank you, Millie.
Thank you, Millie.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Malone.
Good evening, Council Mayor. My name is Steve Paul. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Downingtown Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm the executive director there. Just want to thank council for your support for the flag project in Kirk Park. As you probably know, hopefully you saw the press, council president, where the president was there, the borough manager Solomon was there. We had a nice kickoff, Joe Local News, thank you Ginger for the coverage for that. So the park was in on Saturday, the checks started rolling in on Monday. And we probably have, I would say, a neighborhood of about 25 checks in as of today. And then we've had 2 pledges to buy 2 of the big flags for $1,500.
Wow.
Those calls come in Monday. So the good news is, so we're very proud to have a big flag up for the holiday in May.
Thank you,
And keep
Ginger.
coming in, so do that, and we want to get the pole painted and all that. So things are going well. We had confidence in the community with the step up, and they certainly are. So thank you, council, for the confidence you had in the chamber, and we look forward to publish it.
Thank you for doing that, it's always here. Good to hear something. Good job. All right, any other citizens? All righty, we'll move on. Need a motion to approve the municipal bid. You have it in front of you. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Second. Questions?
Could you just, explain a little bit, please?
What would you like, I'm sorry.
I didn't look at it ahead of time, it's just in our packet now, right?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Yeah, could you just explain this just a little bit? I see your history and stuff, but I'm not really understanding this. So what is the final motion here that's gonna happen?
Motion is to award the 2002 Crown Victoria that was approved for sale by council at a prior meeting to the high bidder of $2,201. I believe his name was listed here.
I see that. Okay,
And that's what it's for.
I understand, thank you.
If we can put that amount in there, so it's on, so that's on the ground. Any more questions? Okay, motion second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll jump around here a little bit. Next, we have police business. Alex, have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we extend a conditional offer of employment for the position of full-time police officer to Brandon Seibert and Jeffrey Burkhart, pending that they pass the required psychological and physical tests.
Motion second, questions? Down all these, A for, go for a minute. Municipal bid, approval to advertise vehicles for sale. We have a motion to approve to advertise the speed trailer and the 2010 Ford Crown Victoria. So moved. Motion by second. Questions? Okay, all in favor? Okay, yes? Okay, motion carries. All righty, we'll jump back up, Steve, that's all business. Guys, the time limit, we have a 3-minute time limit. It's been a little trouble to enforce. I've been letting it go 10 or 15 minutes at times at some of the meetings. We're going to bring in, Steve, you're looking into like Westchester, they have, we looked into it, a lot of them have timers, so we're going to get the timers, so you don't have to trust me to look at the clock. I don't have to interrupt people and say your time's up. We'll have a timer up, just so you know. I didn't want you to walk in here and see that all of a sudden there was a timer there, just to have a little more uniform meeting.
Are we making a motion on this, or is this just a?
No, it's more or less, it's an update to let you know that we're doing. I didn't want you to walk in and just see it. It's,
I think it's a good idea. I think consistency
right.
is appreciated by everyone, so.
And it kind of takes the pressure off of me, guys. You know, I let some go 5 minutes, some go 4. I look for a chance to try to tell them without cutting off in the middle sentence. So I just wanted to give you an update more or less on that. I could have been anywhere on, could have been on the good of the order, but it was there. Do we have anything for the good of the order? Anything exciting going on in town? Easter egg hunts, anything?
I do. Start with
Said it before, I'll say it again, Readers of the Run, Readers on the Run 5K, Saturday the 11th. It benefits the library, and they've got some really cool prizes, including 4 Disney park hopper passes, and you can have a Phillies game in Mayor Nutter's box and support the library.
Just explain that a little better. Say it's, what day?
It is on Saturday, April 11th. It's basically the same route as Terry's run. The 5K run starts at 8 o'clock. Those who want to just go for the 1 mile walk can be there at 8:15, and the kids' dash is at 9 o'clock. All the proceeds benefit the Downingtown Library. And
How do you win those offers? Offer passes?
that is a good question, Pat. That is a separate raffle item that is $25 a raffle. All the other raffles are $1 because of this prize being valued at something like $500. That's $25, and
Nobody bid on limoncellos.
Limoncello?
Nobody bid on that.
Out of
It's
order.
a text from your wife.
That's out of order. We'll slide down, Doc.
Yeah, I just want to thank Officer Jim Reed, is retiring tomorrow, 65 years young. We want to thank him for his service to Downingtown. Downingtown's been a safer place because of his hard work. And we're bringing in some fresh blood from the Downingtown Police Department. And the chief and the lieutenant are going to get them trained and make sure they live up to our expectations as a town. And we want to invite these officers into our good neighbor culture in this community. And we'll go from there. And April 17th is the ribbon cutting for the library. And that's it.
What day is it?
April 17th, the week after this is your run is the ribbon cutting for the library.
I guess that would be the following Friday.
I think so.
Maybe you'll send us something out so as a refresher, please.
Oh, and the Downingtown Fine Arts Festival is May 31st.
The 30th and 31st.
30th and 31st in downtown Downingtown. It's the first of final Fridays? No, it's just the first. Okay, and then Victory's gonna be down there, the School Rock's gonna be down there, lots of vendors, and it'll be a cool, I got a call from someone in Wilmington that wanted to bus up some seniors. It should be a cool event.
Alex, are you on the channel coming? Any motion to return? Hey, we're not done. Any, you have any comments? Okay, I'm sorry, motion second? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, guys, very good meeting, thank you for bearing with me.